Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the show tonight, at a time when you thought, like so many around the world, that we had won the war against COVID, comes the depressing news that Omicron, the new World Health Organization designated variant, may be many times as transmissible as Delta, the strain of COVID that claimed lakhs of lives. The government has sounded the alert. On this program, a very special guest, Dr. Shekhar Mande, the Director General of the CSIR, that's the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, a premier government agency. We're also joined by Dr. Shashank Joshi of the Maharashtra COVID Task Force. Later on the show, the comedian Munawar Farooqui is shut down once again, even before he performs, this time in Bengaluru. He says, "That's enough, I quit." This epitomizes perhaps some of the worst of what we have seen in the country, where hate, often right-wing hate, by those masquerading as moral guardians is being instrumental in shutting down what we hold so dear, our freedom of speech and the right to expression. Is this truly the India that we seek, the India that we want? But first, the big story internationally. How much more transmissible is the new COVID variant? That's the big question. Let me go straight across to Dr. Shashank Joshi with this first question. So as usual, Dr. Joshi and Dr. Mande, in fact, Dr. Mande, let me come to you first. We try to get some answers because people don't really know very much. So Dr. Mande, in your view, our first question, how much more transmissible is the new variant of COVID?
At this moment, we have no data to say whether it's more transmissible or more lethal. But all we know is that a very large number of mutations have accumulated in this particular variant. There are 26 new mutants on the spike protein alone, which are unique to Omicron, which are not there in any of the other variants that we know. For example, we know, beta, gamma, delta, and all. Each of them had some unique mutations to them. And the number of mutations that has accumulated is so large that at this moment, we are also not able to trace its lineage to the parent strain where it came from. So there's a worry, but at this moment, the clinical correlation on whether it's really more transmissible or whether it's more lethal, that's still awaited by some solid evidence.
Okay. Dr. Joshi, your views, the question is this: does greater transmissibility mean greater severity of this variant of COVID?
So one thing is clear, that first time on planet Earth, the Delta is threatened. The most dominant strain in the last 6 months has been Delta. So Beta got totally replaced by Delta in South Africa. And the documentation that this strain is more transmissible comes from the fact that in the last 2 weeks, in fact, in 10 days, the entire Delta, whatever little bacha kucha, Beta and Alpha was in South Africa, is 100% replaced by Omicron. And that is why the WHO claimed it as a variant of concern directly. So one thing is sure, as far as South Africa is concerned, it is the most dominant strain as of now. So it is clearly more transmissible, and the R0 is likely to be more than the Delta, which was around 8 to 11, like chickenpox. So it is going to spread faster than chickenpox. But our conversations with Dr. Andrea Koech and the group in the Commonwealth Association yesterday, and I am personally known to her, she has told very clearly that whatever patients they have seen in South Africa are all having mild disease. And it's only the next 2 to 4 weeks, because the disease is only 10 days old to 15 days old there. That will really tell us whether there will be severe disease in vulnerable groups, immunosuppressed groups, whether they will go on ventilator. So next 2 to 4 weeks clinically are crucial.
Okay.
So Professor Mande is absolutely right that we don't know whether it will be more virulent, whether it will be more fatal. But the Delta and Beta had only 2 or 3 mutations. This has more than 50 mutations.
Yeah,
of which
okay.
30 are sitting. Go ahead, sorry.
Sure. Dr. Mande, so the question is this: will the vaccines work as effectively on the new COVID variant?
Yeah, so vaccines, actually what we know is that they definitely prevent a severe form of the disease, and they certainly bring down mortality significantly. That is known about all the vaccines that are currently approved all over the world. And if that be the case, we do hope that, of course, in this case also they will work equally effectively in reducing the severity of the disease and in reducing the mortality rate.
Dr. Mande, this question to you as well: is it likely that the new COVID variant is already in India?
That we don't know yet. As of now, the genome sequences that have been done, I don't think we know the answer yet fully. It's very early days yet.
Yeah. Dr. Joshi, how does one detect the new strain of COVID?
So there are two ways. One is the excellent labs CSIR has supported across the country, including Maharashtra, of genome sequencing labs. So one is to do genome sequencing. But there is another simpler method. What happened in South Africa? See, the COVID virus has the S gene, the N gene, and the ORF gene. So they had the TACPath assay, and by that assay, the S gene was deleted. Now, most of the RT-PCR tests which are done in India use N or ORF. So if we include those RT-PCR labs which do all the three, and if the S gene is absent, that is a simple way to know that we can send a sample for genomic analysis. And that's the easier way to find it out. Secondly, we have some proof that vaccine may be a little useful because both the Hong Kong patients, all the 4 patients from Botswana, and a large population of patients in South Africa who are infected with the Omicron, all of them were double, and in fact, the Hong Kong patient had received the Pfizer booster also a month back. So obviously, they all got mild disease. So clearly, as Dr. Mande said, vaccine is the way to go, and vaccine will ensure that it will save life or severe disease. The only challenge is that it may not prevent COVID or the transmission of the disease. And if you are vaccinated, you will still keep pouring out the virus and transmitting and infecting others. So the infectiousness of this virus, as of now, what we know is much more. Rest of the data is work in progress.
Yeah. Dr. Mande, should all international passengers at airports get RT-PCR testing done as they enter our country? I'm not just talking about at-risk countries. It's difficult to implement, I realize that. But given the fact that this spreads very fast and the rate of transmissibility is believed to be higher, so should we protect ourselves by getting all international passengers at Indian airports RT-PCR tests if they're coming from outside?
I think there is a decision that policymakers will take very soon. But as Dr. Shashank Joshi mentioned very correctly, is that the current tests, they probe the ORF and the AM, and the absence of S is actually what indicates presence of Omicron strain. But that's not fully confirmatory, and that needs to be validated by further genome sequencing. So all these things, I'm sure, would be put in place in the near future.
Dr. Mande, how long does it take to genome sequence an Omicron variant from the point of detection in an RT-PCR test? So if there's a passenger in Delhi airport who tests positive, genome sequencing is attempted, then what happens? So how soon before we know?
See, if you have to sequence an individual genome, it takes less than a day. But normally what happens is you collect a sample, you transport it to the location where it is to be sequenced. Then typically we pool the samples, sequence them and analyze them. That takes anywhere between 2 to 4 days.
Okay. Dr. Joshi, do we have, because we've been trying to fix this, enough genome sequencing facilities now on stream, online in India to be potentially available to deal with the surge of cases?
I think so. I think we have reasonable, but there may be a role of commercializing genome sequencing in private sector. So if the the next 2 to 4 weeks, we'll need to have patients. And if we see that the strain has entered India and we need a larger genome sequencing, then probably we'll need to do more capacity building. But currently, the CSIR has both the technical know-how, they have supported a lot of our states, including Maharashtra, and they have the ability to throughput it. In fact, I would correct Dr. Mande. In fact, they have given us results in Maharashtra state from IGIB in 48 hours. When we wanted them, when we were suspecting the so-called Delta Plus. And we really understood that they gave us the answer that it was not Delta Plus, it was actually Delta Minus. And the AY went on to do so. Every month and every week we are going to get new strains. So there is no need to panic. But yes, the reason we got concerned about Omicron is because it replaced the full Delta in South Africa. So we need to be vigilant. But the genomic sequencing labs currently, lot of national labs are doing it. For example, let us take the example of Maharashtra. In Kasturba Hospital, we have a genome sequencer. At BJ Medical College, we have a genome sequencer. We have Dr. Mande's NCL now offering, and NCCS offering genome sequencing. We have NIME from ICMR offering genome sequencing. And we have the largest genome sequencing lab probably on planet Earth at IGI, which Dr. Anurag Agarwal heads under the direction of Dr. Mande. So we have that capacity and we have ability to upscale it. For example, when RT-PCR started, we only started with 2 and we were able to upscale it to 500 labs in Maharashtra.
Right.
Similarly, across India also we were able to upscale it. So I think that capability and the know-how is there to upgrade if needed.
Okay.
Right now, I think it is not needed because number of samples are going to be small. And currently, if you look at the estimates, around 800 people have arrived in the last 2 weeks from South Africa, or maybe 1,000 as far as Mumbai and Maharashtra is concerned. So one needs to be vigilant. One needs to make telephone calls on them. The public health officials are very much in place, and Government of India and Government of Maharashtra both have put some very stringent SOPs in place so that we are able to track them and test them. And most of these cases will still be Delta, if you ask me. Right. You know, like in Bengaluru, there was a scare on the airport. And 2 people were detained. They were COVID positive. But the genome sequence result is out and they both are negative.
All right. Well, that gives us some preliminary answers to some preliminary questions. I'd like to thank you both very much for joining us. I suspect this is going to be a point of conversation for some time. Let's just hope that it's not as dangerous as Delta was. We don't know the exact correlation of severity and transmissibility in the case of this variant of COVID. Moving on. In a controversial decision, the Bengaluru police have asked the Good Shepherd Auditorium to cancel the comedian Munawar Farooqi's stand-up show in light of threats from Hindu vigilante groups. Munawar's show was to be held today. The organizers said 700 tickets had been sold. Munawar Siddiqui is a stand-up comedian from Gujarat. He was arrested in 2021 by the Indore police. Soon after, a BJP MLA's son said that the jokes that he was going to crack, he never cracked them, at a local show were offensive. Now, in the letter to the police in Bengaluru, there's this letter where it has been told to the police that Farooqi's show, Dongri to Nowhere, is problematic because he's a controversial figure. That's apparently good enough to stop the show. And so this letter was actually sent across to the auditorium where this was the producers of this. And they said that, and you know, they were told that perhaps it's wise to shut this down, or else there could be violence. The end result, Munawar Farooqi has had enough. He's put up a post on the cancellation in which he says, Nafrat jeet gaye, artist haar gaya. Hate has won, the artist has lost, I am done. Is this the India that we want, where comedians cannot perform anymore because they are threatened? Joining us now, Siddharth Das. He's the producer of the show where Munawar Farooqi was meant to be today. Akash Banerjee, a political satirist, joins us, as well as Ashwani Dubey, a Supreme Court lawyer, somebody who is pro-BJP, close to the BJP in a sense. Siddharth Das, let me come to you first. Did the police tell you had no option?
Not really, but it was similar to that. We had, I think you must be having a copy of the letter.
Yes,
that
I have it in front of me.
Yeah, so it was like a request to us that for common harmony and law and order situation of the Bangalore and especially the area, so they wanted us to cancel the show. They sent this request letter to both us and also the venue, Good Shepherd Auditorium. So they have sent similar letters, and they also made phone calls to us requesting us to cancel the show.
Did you tell the police that it was the job of the police to ensure this went off peacefully?
Yeah, we informed that and we had discussions regarding that also. But police was a little skeptical, and they were not, they were like, it was not that planned, and it came up in the last moment. Actually, they were quite supportive till day before yesterday. Everything was in place, and we were supposed to have the show today. But suddenly, the hype was created, and the threats started coming as per the police yesterday, and they were like, the time is not sufficient for them to provide the bandwidth for happening the show, because it was a large scale show and around 700 people were supposed to come to the show.
Some of these threats were online, but were these also other people who identified themselves? Are you pushing for legal action against those who threatened you?
Not really at the moment, Vishnu. So not really about any legal action.
So you can't do anything. You basically given up at this stage.
For today's show, definitely we had to, because we had to cancel the show. But for future shows, police has told that they.
So if it's not Munawar Farooqi and is some sort of acceptable comedian, that's okay. But he is obviously not acceptable.
Yeah, because in the letter they have also cited the cases that are there in different places, including Indore. So that is.
No, but what exactly did he do, Siddharth, in Indore? What exactly did he do in Indore?
Yeah, as far as we know, actually the show never started.
Exactly. So he did nothing.
Yeah.
He did nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so are you okay with that decision of the Bengaluru police to advise you to shut this down?
Actually, we are not, but like you told, we had not got any choice because it was a very short time frame and we did not have the.
So I don't believe. I think there's a lot more over here than time frame. But I appreciate the fact that you're still willing to come on and talk. Akash, what does this say about the India that we live in?
Kudos to at least Siddharth, who's come to the show. I mean, in today's day and age,
thank you, Siddharth.
In today's day and age, I understand a lot of comedians are also not wanting to come to television studios to even talk about this. Who wants to get into all this fachita, all this complication? Vishnu, every time this is happening, you guys call me over. So just a few days ago, we were discussing Veer Das. Now we are discussing this. Make sure you do one debate when my turn comes, please. One debate, because it's become so frequent. So my only point is, and I just seriously wanted to put this out: if everybody has gone ahead and said that, okay, you eat this, you meet this, you marry this, you fall in love here, you wear this, then why don't you just issue guidelines? This is what you can do comedy on, this is what you can't talk about, and then we'll be all very happy. Every other day you are having a complaint, every other day there is an FIR that is being filed. We are all living in a state of flux. Might as well just issue the law, maybe Article 56 of the Constitution, Section 56 or something like that, where you are not supposed to comment on anything that is wrong. And more on a rather distressing note, this is exactly what happened in the farmer agitation also. There, at least the farmers stood up. Here you have a classic case of nothing being made into so many things. Imagine the judiciary, the Supreme Court of India hasn't found anything against this person, and yet he's being barred to ply his trade. So technically, in a developed democracy, in a free democracy, this would have been challenged as my right to earn my livelihood when there is no legal case, there is nothing against me, and yet being controversial enough. At least, of course, kudos to the Bangalore police. They at least admitted that they are incapable of even handling a comedian. So I think kudos to the Bangalore police for at least admitting to the fact that they are incapable of even handling some sort of a problem that might arise out of a comedian. Gives us a lot of confidence in the security apparatus of this country.
Ashwini Dubey, this is what the police had to say in that letter. There is credible information that several organizations opposing the stand-up comedy show performed by Munawar Farooqui could create chaos and could disturb the peace and harmony, which may further lead to law and order problems. The Bengaluru police evidently cannot handle goons targeting a comedian. Is it worth having them as a police force?
Thank you, Vishnuji, for having me here. Vishnuji, India is a rich, diverse country with diverse culture, and it has many religious beliefs. It is the duty of every individual to respect the other's beliefs and not hurt by showcasing talent by way of art. Government authorities.
You decide that, sir. Or how can anybody decide that?
May I, with due respect, Vishnuji, I will take 40 seconds. Government authorities are duty bound to ensure that the peace prevails. And if any chances of unrest detected, the administration may regulate or cancel the permission granted. This is the law settled by the Supreme Court. What has happened, respected Vishnuji? Few recent instances have created problem in the society. Like the Indore issue, it was found that by the police theory that he has violated the constitutional freedom by targeting certain class of beliefs.
In Indore, he never performed.
Which to my view, may not fall within the liberty granted under the constitution, and it is not the artistic expression and creative freedom.
But sir, he wasn't allowed to express himself artistically in Indore. And he wasn't allowed to express himself artistically here. In both cases, he was threatened. In the Indore case, he was locked up. Eventually, he was released. And he was found to be entirely innocent.
The matter is still under investigation, Vishnuji, and still until and unless the court comes to the conclusion that the offence registered against him, because he is on bail, case has not been quashed against him.
Right.
So unless and until
a case
to the conclusion
about
that
something that he may have said, but he never said, has not been
This
quashed.
is what the law of the
Therefore,
country
it
says.
is okay for you, sir, as a respected Supreme Court lawyer, to actually say that that legal process is all right, that it is fair.
Sir, we have to, once a FIR is registered, unless and until courts come to the conclusion that the person has committed or not committed the offense, we have to go by the law.
Right.
Sir,
So the law,
you have to also follow-
there is also something known as the spirit of the law. And the law is also designed in our country to defend that one book you are sworn to oath on. That is the Constitution of our country. That is our religious book. That is our Holy Bible,
on
sir.
On the one hand,
Right?
with due respect, another 20 seconds, Vishnuji. With one hand, Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution of India gives us right for freedom of speech, expression,
Yes,
artistic
precisely.
freedom or any other freedom. 19 to put a reasonable restriction.
But
As
why?
I said,
What has he
India
done
is a diverse
that you would
country
place that
with-
restriction, Ashwini ji?
So we have to respect
Ashwini ji,
other
the man has
sentiments.
not spoken. Why
So
shut
we have
down
to
somebody
respect. So-
without allowing him
that
to
is what
speak?
I said, if police comes to the conclusion by the intelligence and other sources that there may be an arrest, police can always cancel
All right.
it. It is within the domain
Okay,
of the
Akash,
police.
so the police have used their intelligence, sorry, the intelligence arm of the police, I mean, and they may have reached this conclusion. Is that a kosher argument?
No, I completely agree with Ashwani ji. I mean, he's made such a fabulous point. I wish that this point is taken to a broader context. He's absolutely right. The case is not over. The man is on bail and there could be a problem and therefore he should not be allowed to perform. I just wish that this is actually taken forward and applied to the honorable ministers sitting in parliament, all the MPs sitting in parliament. We'll really have a lot of space in the parliament that if people out on bail are not allowed to trade or ply their profession, the point is that we can continue having this discourse and debate, Vishnu. Nobody's going to budge from his position. Ashwani ji is going to stick to his guns. I'm going to stick to mine. He may also stick a case on me. So that's not the point. The point is, look at the slope that we are in. And, that is what is worrying, Vishnu. One day we have a Veer Das, another day we have this instance. Earlier it was the opposition that was weakening India. Then it was the civil society. Then it was the media, the liptard, the tukade Lutyens media. The problem is much deeper. We are agreeing to the fact that we are going to hound people. There always has to be the enemy. The latest flavor of the season happens to be comedians. They, like much of the media, will also be silenced. We are very much in that direction at this point of time.
All right. Ashwini ji, would you like to respond to that? Siddharth, I'll
Yes,
give you
sir.
the last
With
one.
due respect, another 30 seconds, sir.
Please go
No
ahead.
fundamental right, no, as you said, Vishnuji, no fundamental right in the Constitution of India is absolute. Every fundamental right is subject to some restrictions. And the courts have put reasonable restrictions. It has from time to time by various judgment under Article 19 in order to maintain a proper balance between liberties given and social interests. So with due respect to you, Vishnuji, it is not the case. As a student of law, at least, as a student of law, I would say that when police came to the conclusion that there may be some risk, even it can be in favor of Mr. Farooqi, so that these people who are trying to create unrest in the society may not harm you. Over to you, Vishnuji.
I just want to repeat, the man has not performed. How do we know what he was going to say?
So
No, it is in his favor. See, this is the problem with you people. You're not understanding the far-sightedness of the police. It is in the favor of the comedian to not allow him to perform. What if there is a problem? See, we have to understand the caring nature of the police. You guys are too pessimistic. I'm telling you, I agree with Ashwini ji. Yes.
Siddharth, last word to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, basically the thing is, I would also agree that freedom of speech is not absolute, sir. I respect to you, even to Akash, where he has a nice YouTube channel where he does satire. But at the same time, it is also not, right to shut someone down. That is the only point, because we also respect the freedom of speech. If someone is hating what we do or some comic does, like I would not tell my name because my videos that are there in YouTube might not be directed in the same way. But what I am telling is, if someone you are not liking, you have all rights to, express the same way the comic did, because he has the freedom of speech. You also have the similar freedom of speech. We have no issues with that. but threatening to vandalize a thing, threatening to be threatening to idhar aaja main dekh leta hu tere ko. See, those kind of things are the things that create unrest in the society, which we feel. See, we write for our audience, we perform for our audience, we would even one day die for our audience. We don't
Well, let's hope that is not the case.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
So-
in this India, it's that really is a serious threat right now. There is nobody has the right.
But I would
Nobody
like
has
to,
the right
I
to
would like
threaten
to-
anybody with violence
Yeah.
or anything else. But maybe even that can be justified in today's India. But it's sad
But,
because
yeah,
Munawar
but I would
Farooqui has
add,
decided.
Vishnu, yeah.
I'll tell you what's been
Sorry.
what's also ended and what's been shut down. Not just the performance today. Munawar Farooqui has said he's shutting himself down. Right. So those opposed to allowing people to speak have actually won. What does this say about our country and our right to have conversations like this? Maybe it's just a matter of time before this is shut down as well. Is this the India that we actually seek? I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us. It's time for this short break.